Ocean, they've favored the Shadow Fiend a lot. They played it pretty. So far, it looks like 10 matches so far in the past week. It looks like through. So the Shadow Fiend is a very common hero throughout their drafts.
Interesting, so early. They didn't see. I mean, I guess their first pick. I mean, the mid is gonna most likely get countered anyway. So they're choosing to pick the mid hero early.
I guess they protect it with the TA, right? Like that's kind of a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, I think you can say that. I mean, SF is. I mean, apart from TA, I don't think he actually has a lot of trouble against other heroes. But he's afraid of like roaming heroes though. Like if there's like some roaming hero that can pressure him. I mean, there's still Nyx. There's no Clockwork, but they go for the Phoenix, so they want to have more team fight. Bane Phoenix, so they are lacking in terms of. I mean, they don't really have much catch apart from the Bane right now.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue right now. I guess we can see like they do have last pick for nothing to save. They want to go for some hero that can provide a little bit of catch here. Like even the Void Spirit, I guess is more like a tempo controlling hero, but is in the pool.
Yeah, but I think because they don't have supports that can help mid, like Bane and Phoenix are not really very good at ganking mid early or helping him out. So they need to pick a good matchup for him to ensure that he doesn't get trash or he doesn't need help from others, because they are not going to be able to do much for him.
Yep, okay. Well, there is, like we said, there's the last pick for whatever they want to give to him. I mean, it's a guarantee. I'm almost certain it'd be the Silo Android. I don't think they're going to put that on that lane. So, which is nice, the emphasis on being able to have, like you said, two supports that can't really roam mid. So they're going to get this good matchup with the Shadow Fiend already getting shown early, and you have the last pick in that regard. So kind of makes it difficult for Ocean to be able to protect the Shadow Fiend. I guess the Tiny as a 4 could make some rotations.
Oh, that's a great. I mean, yeah, the Tiny can rotate a lot and pressure, so they have to keep that in mind. And the Lifestealer is a great pick against most of their heroes except the Bane. He's really good against Lone Druid, very good against Centaur, and very good at killing the egg. It's a great pick. And I'm thinking about like a Silencer to finish things up, even though we don't see the hero too much. I think Silencer is great against the Phoenix and the Bane.
Yeah, it's really nice to disrupt the fire and in the lane against the Phoenix.
Yeah, but we don't see that hero like ever for some time already.
I wonder if we'll see it picked a little bit more just because how popular Phoenix is. When heroes start to get played more, their counters start to become higher in value. Feel like
it's true.
The Silencer right now, it seems like teams have been actually playing it more like a flex. Like I've seen more Silencer as cores lately than actually as supports.
Yeah, that's because of the change, right? The
glaives change.
Yeah, the glaives change. Yeah. That's why.
The Clockwork, not the Clockwork, the Snapfire is going to get taken out. Yeah.
Other heroes, there's still Grimstroke. I think Grimstroke could be decent. There's Wyvern. Wyvern is, it's okay-ish. But if they want to win the lane, obviously they're going to pick some Undying to follow the Centaur. Jakiro, another bird.
Another flying one.
So it does give them more damage in teamfight, some follow-up after the Tiny or Pango initiate with the Ice Path. Laning, he's a pretty strong laner in general. It's pretty good against the Lone Druid Bear because you have all those minus attack speed spells, so that's pretty useful.
Yeah, that's going to be really nice, especially throughout the fights. And even laning into Centaur with you don't really have to rely too much on your right clicks. It's a lot of magic damage to not stack up the Retaliate, I guess. I guess the Lifestealer, though, is still going to give him some stacks there in that regard. But EHOME looking for the hero for nothing to say here. Just a matchup versus Shadow Fiend. I mean, there's not a lot of control to go into it.
Storm. But yeah. Storm is gonna have a hard lane, I think, against Shadow Fiend. But it does fit like what they need. They need someone that has some catch. Void Spirit. That's their catch as well. But he's a melee hero against Shadow Fiend, so I think he is going to struggle somewhat. He's gonna get pressured, and there's a Tiny roaming around early game. He's gonna have a hard time. But they are choosing to go for a hero that fits their overall lineup rather than focusing on picking a good matchup in the lane. So a different perspective on what they chose to do.
Yeah, so he's going to be able to make a lot more rotations early, I guess, with the power runes and try and have an impact onto the game. So that's how he'll get his catch up. You know, Shadow Fiend's gonna have a pretty good lane, and Void Spirit will try and get that catch up from getting a couple of pickoffs and seeing what can happen across the map here. Can you see the Lone Druid like maybe like second catapult wave rotate into the lifesteal lane and push this hero into the jungle, because you don't farm too fast in the jungle right now as a lifestealer, like unless you do go for that Maelstrom build, you know, it still feels like that first item.
I think after if you kill your tower, maybe you consider it, but otherwise it's not that easy to. I mean, you want to do it if you can chase him out, that's great, but it's not that easy to chase the lifestealer unless you beat him in the lane, you pressure him in the lane a lot with the Centaur, which I think they are not gonna be able to do that well, because Phoenix and Centaur I think the lifestealer he will do okay, and he has a Jakiro to help him. He won't lose his lane, I think.
Yeah, I think the Jakiro harass might be a bit much, and I know the lifesteal laning stage has been nerfed kind of heavily. I mean, the base damage and all. I think the Orb of Venom nerf is actually pretty drastic to the lifestealer. I mean, I know the time got increased, but I feel like lifestealer heavily relied on that.
The time got decreased actually.
The slow got increased, yeah. But the damage felt really important for a lifestealer, a hero that doesn't have high amount of damage and, you know, constantly being able to get those procs through. But it's going to be interesting to see, you said, if they are able to pressure out the lane here. But is there anyone you give an edge to so far throughout the draft?
I kind of like the Radiant draft more. I think they have much more options with what they can do in the game. They have decent, sorry, not Radiant, Dire. Ocean lineup.
Yep.
I think they have a very well-rounded lineup. They have team fight with the Shadow Fiend, Pango, decent laning with the Jakiro and Tiny. Both their supports offer a lot. They can gank, they can rotate. They're pretty good at killing heroes early on. They have late game with the Lifestealer, Shadow Fiend. When you look at the EHOME lineup, they kind of have more like a lineup that wants to group up and push. You know, they don't really have too many ways of catching until the Void Spirit has used for his combo. So if they don't do well in their lanes and they are forced to scatter, I think they're going to have a lot of trouble. Because if their lineup doesn't group up together and they just try to split up and push, farm, they're going to get caught by the Tiny and the Pango.
Yeah, and I think that the fights that they kind of have to play around the Lone Druid, like that kind of Mask and Madness, what we're seeing the Mask Desolator lately on the Bears.
I think Mask Desolator, yeah, I think that's kind of better. I'm not sure if it's overall better every game compared to the Maelstrom, but it does feel like it's better for now.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like how kind of the timing that you said the US Scepter is really when the Void Spirit's able to come online. But I mean, you take a look at the fights. I mean, later on, just do they have the damage output? Like the Bane's not really going to have anything. You know, the Phoenix is the egg, but they don't really have a great way to be able to protect the egg, which is kind of the issue.
If they do well in their lanes, then it's a different story. It's easy for them to snowball compared to the Dire lineup. If Dire lineup, they snowball from the lane, but they can't really kill. If you look at their tower damage, it's not really amazing, you know, until Lifesteal has a lot of items or Jakiro has levels, you know, so you can keep spamming a Liquid Fire on tower. But before that happens, they are not actually that great at killing off buildings.
So right now, when you look at a draft, you're more looking at the laning stage and transitioning that early instead of kind of late game team fight and how things are able to evolve around that.
Yeah, I kind of feel that that's more important right now because of how the game has changed. It does feel like the team that does well early and you have some form of hero that can kill buildings, they tend to have a very good chance of closing out the game, and it's a lot harder for the losing team to do much, you know, in the game.
Yep. Okay. And they might have, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, like, how, if they are, you know, the Druid should have a relatively good lane. Like, it's going to be the Pango paired up with the Tiny. We might see the Tiny make some emphasis to the mid lane, but, you know, we said that the Shadow Fiend's going to have a good time. Like, it's against the melee matchup. It's really nice to set up for the Razors. So, you know, we might see Fame help out a little bit with mid and being able to kind of give that Shadow Fiend even better of a start. So we'll see what the Void's able to do. I imagine they'll probably have a power rune, one, because he'll have a bottle, but more to catch up and make a lot more plays across the map.
Well, I think the Tiny should play like mid and top. I think the Pango will be fine alone. I mean, of course, he's going to get bullied by the Bane and Lone Druid. Then Tiny and Pango, you're not gonna do anything at all against Bane and Lone Druid. So I think the Pango is probably gonna be left alone, so he can pull waves and do his own shenanigans. And the Tiny is gonna do a lot mid and top. They can kill the Centaur very easily at top if he's there. Middle lane is also a lane that he can kill fairly easily once the Shadow Fiend has level 3 onwards. So I feel like it's actually the best way for them to approach the early game, which is to probably start with a defensive tri-lane and look to rotate middle. Or maybe try to help the Pango a little bit. Give him some help, like 1 minute, and then move away.
Yeah, the Bane. I mean, the Bane as a laning support is one of the best. Being able to just constantly harass with the
like
brains.
Undying,
Yeah.
you don't want to hit him.
Yeah, it's difficult. So I mean, maybe Pangolin by himself just against the Bane is going to be a bit annoying. So I mean, that's going to allow Sylar to get an off. But what is the stage where the Druid feels fine solo in a lane where you might see Bane even go top and put some pressure on? Or do you think Y actually just does kind of always stay bot with the Druid for the laning stage?
Depends on what the Pango is doing. If the Pango is like trying to pull the wave constantly, maybe the Bane will follow him and try to take sleep at level 1 to stop him. But if he feels he doesn't need to be at the bottom, because Lone Druid can naturally solo against the Pango from level 1. So if he feels like he doesn't extend the advantage for the Lone Druid anymore, then he should choose to help the Centaur or even the Void Spirit.
Yes, okay, so that's going to have their lane set up is nice. I guess it's just depending on if they do Ocean, start with a try up top for a little bit, and we'll see how the Tiny kind of starts to transition down afterwards though. But right now,
just follow the Tiny.
Yeah,
is the key.
Is the key. The one to make the plays early. But we are back underway, so our second series of the night. We've already seen Ocean have a matchup up against Newbie, which Newbie looks like they did 2-0 them. EHOME have had, I believe, just one other series so far. They also end up dropping that to SAG. So both teams at the moment looking for their first victory for the China Dota Association. I mean, we've got a very long group stage though, so each team's kind of getting the feel of it and seeing how they're able to kind of transition and better the standing for them. But they're going to put the lifestealer down bot. So now I know the lifestealer matchup used to be really good once on the old feast when it had that percent damage for how tanky they were, so the percent health. And now it's just the lifesteal instead. So it's still a pretty good matchup though for the lifestealer, right? Against the Link against the Lone Druid.
Yeah, you're actually right. It's not as good as before. But I mean, it's still nice, but it was even better before.
Yeah, because you could just melt through the bear with how tanky that thing was early on. But
percent damage owns the bear.
Mm-hmm. And any percent damage is a great way to be able to deal with all these tanky heroes. Yeah, incredible. But so what? They're gonna put Pango top, okay, against the
Pango top. So they are trying to. What I think they are trying to accomplish is they're trying to win all their lanes.
And is this too greedy now?
I think it's possible looking at what the setup is. Maybe not win all the lanes, but at least give Pango again. Because if they do what I said just now, try lane, safe lane, and Pango bot, Pango will have a very, very bad game. But because they're switching the lanes around, so even if Pango is top against 3 heroes, he will have a much better chance of at least, getting something because he's on the safe lane.
And how does a Lone Druid fare though in a tri lane? I feel like this hero wants to be kind of. He needs help. Yeah, I feel like you kind of like being like tri lane. You're not as good. You want some experience because you want to get that bear maxed out as fast as possible to help with your farm. And I mean, you see how much damage they're doing into the bear already. Like,
he doesn't need a tri lane to help him, but at least he needs one support because he has to keep tabs on the Tiny. The Tiny is the one that can maybe kill him if he gets caught out by a toss. So he needs the support to like mirror him and just be a moving observer. Make sure that he tells the Lone Druid where's the Tiny is all the time.
Yeah, and you see how Y's playing at the moment. We've seen
he's just following the Tiny.
Oh, he's gonna lose that bear.
Oh, the bear!
I mean, still, it's how much experience does they're gonna get the toss back? So Sylar, not in the greatest spot here. They do have a lot of damage coming through with the dual breath, so Sylar might end up falling here down bot, and Fame's gonna be the one to claim the kill. I mean, he doesn't have a bear now for the.
That was really unexpected though. I didn't think they had enough damage to kill because the lifestealer was still level 1.
But how does he lane now? No bear? This is now really rough.
Yeah, GG. No lane for 1 minute 30 seconds.
This is going to be very... And another toss. I mean, This one's, I think, a little bit more difficult. But
I mean, you kind of don't really want to kill the... Even if you can kill the Bane, you kind of don't want to kill him, you know? Like, the Lone Druid wants you to spend your mana to kill the support, so he can lane.
Yeah, okay. And what does Zinq do now? Because bot's so difficult, you still keep him top because the Lone Druid doesn't want that extra support in the lane, or already this bad start?
He doesn't really want to be at bot in a tri-lane like this. The Bane is just supposed to do undying stuff and just feed in the lane and hope that because he's feeding, the Lone Druid can farm.
We do see
so
him.
This is pretty decent because the wave is pushed up towards the tower. So then this wave would like eventually push down towards the tower.
Yep.
Towards the Radiant Tower, so the Lone Druid can get some. Like, this is actually really good. What the Bane did is really, really good. Because the Dire team couldn't really control the wave in front of the tower because there was no heroes there. They were killing him. So this is a really good death for support.
Yeah, there you go. So now Siler's going to be able to get a little bit of farm at a safe stage here. I wonder if Radiant block the hard camp. I mean, going against the tries, they've got, you know, the constant being able to use that hard camp aggressively just to pull the lane back. You know, is this? I guess it's
maybe the Bane should body block if you can, but he's too busy now getting tossed.
Yeah, they're gonna try again onto Y here. I mean, at least they're not finding Sylar. You know, with that brain sap, he's got a little bit of effective HP. He's got a Fairy Fire stick charge as well, but I don't. The tower's not hitting onto the Tiny here. So with the self, here comes a rotation as well from Zinq. Dual breath.
They really want to kill this Bane, yeah.
And now another life stealer.
He just died and he TP'd back, so they really wanted to kill him so the Lone Druid can't farm. But finally the Phoenix comes in here for this rotation. But good usage of the South there before he almost died.
Yeah, being able to pop the stick and the Fairy Fire as well for a little bit of health. But now we take a look. How's this mid matchup going? Looks like nothing to say. He's got the bottle up already, so we'll have, you know, probably going to see a lot of emphasis around the power room.
Wait, what? He's doing so well? Serious?
Yep, he is.
How he's doing so well?
Which is important because, I mean, if he can get the bottle as well, this is going to give him a really good start. You see kind of, I wonder when we'll see Tiny maybe make a rotation and potentially help out when Shadowfiend has like the triple in raise, the 3 raises for the damage, but they're actually going to try and find the Shadowfiend here with the drag back. This might potentially be a kill. Jakira's a little too late, so I mean that's massive. And nothing to say is
how did he get level 5 faster? The Void Spirit out leveled the Shadowfiend. That's why that play was possible. That was
yeah. So he's also back. He's got the bottle, so he gets the rune. And this is, you said, the melee matchup against the Shadowfiend. It's not one favorable, and in fact, I mean, Radiant, they're doing relatively well throughout the lanes, even though the Druid did kind of suffer early. I mean, still, his last hits is actually, I thought, doing surprisingly a lot better as well, considering he didn't have the bear for a long period of time, and that death.
The Bane dying there was crucial for him to get the lane back. That was a very crucial death for the lane. Otherwise, I think the Lone Druid will have maybe, he has 21 now, right? If the Bane didn't die and cause the crit wave to push out, he would probably have just like 10.
We'll probably see the Tiny. Oh, nice toss from Tiny around the top. It puts a really interesting ward down as well. Usually we see on this side, it's on the high ground, but so they'll do it on that, on kind of the lower side there. But got the bounty.
This is because, yeah, exactly, because if you put a sentry and you don't have vision, you won't find the observer. And he gives slightly less than the better spot, but it's still good vision.
Because they don't scout it out as well. Yeah, it's actually a really nice vision on that side. It's still scouting out a couple of stairs here, which are important choke points, but...
Yep. Catapults, let's go.
Yeah, we don't... It looks like Zinq is going to give kind of a defensive ward mid, and I like this. This is when we're probably going to start seeing the Tiny rotate.
Yeah.
So it's going to make sure he doesn't kind of reveal there's a ward in the area, but they can play a little bit aggressive, because Zinq is in the area, so if they do dive, and nothing to say is about to hit level 6, so they can maybe bait the Void Spirit mid and turn it around, but...
Does Bane have a TP?
Here we go, they're going to go in. Sure, on top of the Shadowfiend here. Tiny's just a little bit too far away, so Shadowfiend, Avalanche provides some space here, but he's still going to stick out. He'll tick out.
He shouldn't have left though. I think he should. He was like looking around. Oh, Stampede.
Tango top, actually. Faith Beyond's going to find a solo kill here. Looks like an aggressive swashbuckle. So, I mean, with what we were anticipating, well, especially after that first blood on Silo, just the lanes are going really well for Radiant. They have a 3,000 gold net worth lead early on. And
they won all their lanes somehow.
Yeah, and we would not expect to happen with the setup from Ocean. They are just not able to transpire it into the lead. And
yeah, the Centaur is like a monster right now. He's twice the net worth of the Tango.
I think the Vanguard first on Centaur is just incredibly nuts. I mean, the reduction in what, no recipe anymore. You've got so much value and go for it. You're just way too tanky. They can't kill you in the lanes.
Maybe that's why, because that's why the teams have been prioritizing this hero because of how you're buying items right now. It makes the laning phase of, and especially the ring of Taras, it actually makes Centaur so much stronger as a hero.
And it just enables his farm. Like he starts, if he has to, he can just pull a Kirit wave to the jungle, and you're just farming like that Axe used to be as well. Mid once again. Here we go. SF dragged back. The Void Spirit has a level advantage right now on the Shadow Fiend. He's going to continue the good start for him. We do see Sylar falling down bot here, so with the aggression mid Dire, they're going to pay off with a kill onto the Lone Druid. That's a second for the game here, but this mid matchup, that's the talking point, because if you give a good start to Nothing to Say, the Yule Scepter is where they're able to get the catch, and can the Lone Druid find catch up though? Like he's not having a bad laning stage. There's a couple of deaths kind of hurt him a little bit, but I feel like the Void Spirit should be able to make enough space for him for a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good trade-off because they won the other two lanes, mid lane and top lane. And somehow this Shadow Fiend is even poorer than the Phoenix. Oh dear, he is just struggle.
He had to go Bracer as well.
Bracer and Rift.
This is...
So he needs a null talisman right now.
Well, he's got no bottle, so how is he going to be able to keep a lot of clarities? I guess. Nice arcane ring, yeah. You'll take that.
Thank you very much.
Yep, but even then, he's already probably used a lot of his gold for sustain to stay afloat. I mean, he's even died a couple times, but now he's gone. Yeah, you see, 2 clarities delivered. I mean, don't get me wrong. Clarities are a really nice thing, but
got buff. This patch.
Yeah, you'd say that's a buff. I know the mana was how much you get reduced, but the rate that you get it is super nice for some of these heroes, right?
I like the new one more, to be honest. It's better for laning.
Mid. They'll find Y here, a little bit of an aggressive attempt onto the Shadow Fiend, so Fame's going to be able to find a kill. The good thing is that Tiny's 4-0, but top lane, we'll see the Pangolier in trouble once again. Faith Beyond, so much damage. I mean, they're level 8, so he's already got the maxed out Retaliate. And he's just having...
This center is Vanguard and Hood at 9 minutes. Hello?
How are they going to kill him? I feel like... Because Shadow Fiend's your damage dealer, right? Like, if Pango's had a bad start...
At this point, Shadow Fiend, you think he's a damage dealer?
No, but as in, like in 15, 20 minutes. Not now. But, like, how... Okay, so how early on, how do they kill the Centaur? What do they do? Where is their damage coming from?
Non-existent at the moment.
Non-existent. That's
maybe in the next game.
Next game, because he's top of the net worth, and they're struggling so far. They're gonna continue.
To kill him,
mid lane, here we go. Nothing to say. Commits a double astral remnant, double astral step. They will have the rotation from the Pangolier, but a nice use of the Dissimulate will be able to dodge the first stun. And now here comes Faith Beyond with these early items. They might still be able to find the Jakiro because EHOME, they have the numbers advantage. This is a big kill if they get Nothing to Say, however. Tanking up the tier 2 tower might be enough, but now with the protection from the Resonant Pulse, Fame's going to wrap around. So 5-0 start right now for the Tiny, really having an incredible game for Ocean, and we'll even saw the Lifestealer join in at this mid-fight, so it's quite the party. And Faith Beyond, I don't know, this is a big boy. The chance that you bring him down, especially with the Supernova, it's not on the high ground, so they will be able to right-click it. Faith Beyond doesn't have mana for the Hoof Stomp, and now he tried to be able to protect the egg, and now EHOME, what have you done around the tier 1 tower here? You had a brilliant start, and now all of a sudden, you throw a couple of lives away.
It's okay, they still have some advantage. They can throw one more. But that was like, I think it all started from the solo kill attempt by the Void Spirit on the Shadow Fiend. I mean, this kind of plays usually only happen when one team feels like they're so far ahead. And they can do whatever. I mean, he has Vanguard and Hood. I think in his mind, nothing can kill him this game.
Yeah, he's a beefy boy already. I mean, he's at Timber stage right now, 11 minutes in, and he is just playing unkillable. And is this where you see Radiant play around the Centaur because of how strong he is, or how does Centaur play now with these items?
Yeah, they should. He wants to push tower with Vanguard and Hood, but his team is pushing mid and he TP'd bot, so scrap that plan.
We're gonna more aggression mid. Why? Nice ice buff Macropice. They will clip him on the very edge. They're gonna still continue the fight with the Stampede. Allows him to disengage. He will actually burn out instead. And now Nothing to Say. Yeah, still committed the double astral step charge, so he doesn't really have the high mobility. And TZY, nice use the Rolling Thunder, gets 2 stuns. And that's another big kill.
The tower was like a bait, you know, it was so low, they wanted to kill the tower. But like you mentioned earlier, they need to play around the centaur. If the centaur decides to, because there was a lot of farm at bot, he TP bottom, and now he actually might get surrounded by the Tiny and Shadow Fiend. But I don't think they can kill him.
Nice little stump just on the very edge. But I mean, you take a look, the shining spot I think for Dire is, I mean, Fame is 5-0 and 3. The issue is, you can say right now with the killing spree that giving it over to supports, you know, they're more than likely going to end up dying. So unfortunately it's not on those cores, but it's nice. He's going to get a pretty decent blink timing to be able to make plays for the Ocean lineup here. But you know, it still looks like, you know, Radiant in the net worth wise, you know, they're in control. 3,000, all the cores 1, 2, 3 on the graphs here, and you know, still kind of hitting these items.
Yep, this is what they need to do. They follow the centaur. Oh, deny? Oh no, he still got it with retaliate.
Retaliate damage, yeah.
Yeah. So right now they have to move to mid to get this tower. It's like 190 HP. It's a free tower.
They are gonna scout them out with the scan. Dire might wrap around on this high ground. Alright, they're actually gonna find the Shadow Fiend though. Treads along with the brace up, but now the egg perfectly on the high ground here. Shadow Fiend will be able to get the ultimate off, but isn't enough damage. However, the egg's gonna pop, stuns up too. Nothing to say. He's gonna have to follow up as well, so the Shadow Fiend's gonna end up falling here for the Rolling Thunder. Cuts out the fight here. A nice little bit of chaos coming through from the Pangolier, so they'll end up losing 2 from EHOME. Now Faith Beyond's the next target though. He's got the Stampede, but the Avalanche clips him on the very edge here, and now with Lucky Shot proc, they'll have the follow up. Another decent fight coming through from Dire. I mean, they do lose their Shadow Fiend, but you know, Faith Beyond's a tricky hero to bring down. He's relatively tanky. He'll make him work for it. In the meantime, you see the trade coming top. Siler's doing as much as he can to get some farm and shove out the wave here, but they do lose 3 heroes once again. You see the net worth isn't moving anywhere. They're not getting objectives out of these kills though.
Yeah, you see the weakness of their lineup when they're not together. They are like very split just now. The 3 heroes were on the right. Even though it was a really good supernova by Zinq, but still they couldn't really kill the Shadow Fiend quickly enough, and they were like here. There was like TPs. They were like being sandwiched in the middle, so they were just gonna die. And Lonju didn't want to come. Like they have to be together for their lineup to be strong. Hit the towers and wait for the enemy to initiate on them. Their lineup doesn't really want to go on the enemy, you know. Like if you try to go on the enemy, it's very easy for Pango to counter initiate.
I feel like they probably should have taken this tower like 5 minutes ago. And 5 minutes, you'd say. I mean, they've had a lot of attempts, and finally they'll get it. So
too greedy. They're just like too complacent, you know, because they had such a big lead on the laning phase.
Still, they haven't lost anything though. Like, yeah, you kill them a couple times, but this net worth lead, it's still continuing to grow. You know, if that's any margin, like Sile is finding items, and even though you're finding these kills on people that are top of the net worth, I mean, it's just not looking to transition, because the Radiant are taking fights that are kind of deep on the Dire side of the map, so it's far away from their towers. But down bot with the bounty timing, really nice Rolling Thunder. Nothing to say, however, to simulate into the Astral Step. We'll be able to dodge that little bit of an attempt here.
Yeah, but you have to remember that the Lifestealer has a really good matchup this game. He's really good against Lone Jude, Centaur, and the Phoenix. Like all their heroes. If the game is like even, the Lifestealer will carry this game easily. That's why the Radiant team needs to have I mentioned earlier during the draft, they need to be able to do well in their lanes for their draft to work out. Which is happening, but they had like a couple of throws so far.
Yeah, a couple of hiccups, but as you see, you know, Silas still being able to get the farm. You know, will we see this hero just continue farming until the MKB? But Radiant actually might.
He's going MKB now?
Yep. Second item MKB, it looks like. Interesting. Now with the Stampede, Fiend's Grip. XMY's on the back line with the Ice Ball, so we'll be able to stop the Fiend's Grip, but it's not going to matter. Pangolier drops. Now they'll turn their attention to the Kiro. Fame probably not going to be able to keep his fellow support alive here, so they'll find 2. Oh, the bear. No, it does take out, but with the catapult, they might be able to take the tower here. I do have glyph, but
yeah, but I don't think Dire can defend here. No, okay, they're actually not choosing to pursue the tower. But second item MKB. Wow.
I've seen this a couple times. I've seen a Cellist likes the Mask of Madness Desolator, and then I've seen the Mask of Madness into the MKB. Not the Maelstrom build doesn't feel as favored.
Is this like the best cost to damage item right now?
It's an interesting choice. Yeah, why you do this? But I mean, it's
Or
a
is he thinking that Lifesteal likes to buy Halberd, so I need this item regardless?
and
So I'm buying
Lifesteal
it
does
from-
have it queued up as well. And also
I
a
mean,
lot of time it goes for that evasion anyways, the talent, but that's a
yeah,
lot
generally
earlier
you
on.
go the Halberd, yeah, with the evasion.
Yeah. We see this, but they're gonna
Could be some next level thinking, you know, he's
Oh,
just
they do have
preparing
blink
for the-
actually, mid lane. Nothing to say. They're trying to set up here. Okay, he's got the Euro Scepter though, but the chain lockdown. Bane, nice use of the Nightmare. Nothing to say. Should be able to stay alive here with his Simulate Astral Step. Perfectly done. That Nightmare trick coming through from Y is able to keep his two alive there. So, in the meantime, still just continuing to get the farm as EHOME. You know, things are looking good in the net worth. And would you see, can they take Roche pretty easily with their lineup? I guess once Sylar has MKB, probably.
Yeah, they should be able to take it, even without any armor reduction. No
Yeah.
Deso, no Medallion.
I was gonna say if you go for like a medallion, but I guess they don't really have kind of the heroes to. Maybe the Void, but we don't really see that medallion Solar Crest anymore. It's kind of like the Yours Ags sometimes.
Yeah, I used to see it sometimes, but nowadays.
Here's the
Not so
MKB.
much.
They'll find the Pangolier. The Rolling Thunder is available now, so we'll be able to stay alive thanks to the counter initiation from the Tiny. It's going to get straight on top of Silo, but he has the ultimate for the bonus health. They're actually not going to knock him to the low ground, so Silo in the river will have enough protection, and they're going to turn the fight with no ultimate for the Pangolier. They even drop the egg just to mainly zone them out, I guess, in case there was any second thought of Fame reinitiating with that Tiny. They've got vision though of the Shadow Fiend, I believe. Yeah, they do. They drop the Sentry. Do they have any dust though? Doesn't look like they do, so still continuing to push out mid though. Faith Beyond taking a decent chunk of damage. The Ice Path Macropire, he has the pipe though to help protect him, and now they've already used the Ice Path, so they can't get rid of the Fiend's Kit right now. Lifesteal is going to end up dropping Kieran. They're going to be able to take a tier 2 tower along with it, so EHOME, another nice fight. As soon as you see that MKB, they smoke up. Shadowfiend, I think, just cut in the wave mid lane, potentially stopping any more a chance if they did want to think about going high ground. But with this net worth lead just continuing to growing, and now they have the objectives. You know, how are Dire going to be able to find the items to be able to deal with the Radiant lineup? You know, you spoke about the Lifesteal and matchups incredibly good this game, but without the items that he has right now, you know, he's starting to struggle to see the damage really shine.
He needs like 10 minutes.
And I think that's
Maybe more.
10 minutes
10
too
minutes
long, I
is
think.
Optimistic.
Yeah, 10 minutes is... Well, we say, all right, 30 minutes. If it's still going, Dire have won. Winter, you said that. I heard you say that. Don't,
Yeah,
no,
sure.
don't call me a lie. All right, there we go. Winter said it. Here we go. 30 minutes in. Lifestealer, this game is in the bag for Ocean. We'll tune back in until then. But I mean, they're still just. Faith Beyond now has. He's got the blink. I mean, look how farm this Centaur is. He is going to be a menace, and they've got a nice ward on the higher ground. Radiant. Looks like we're going to see a fight by the bounty, but they're not full numbers right now for Radiant. They'll try and blow up the Pangolier. Nice initiation, comboed up with the Requiem as well for the perfect lockdown. Centaur. He took the bounty in their face. He blinked forward and now with the Stampede. He's still getting chased, however, but they're right next to the T1 tower. If Ocean dive a little bit too far, Wise in the protection, but a nice use of the toss. He's still relatively tanky, and now with the Nightmare actually stopping the damage from the Shadow Fiend. Looks like they're able to bring him down. Lifestealer gets on top, but here comes the lone Jeweled. A first hit route. He's going to need a couple more. A lucky shot will be able to prevent this. So you see Silent trying to get in range, and maybe even for his own heroes right clicks to find a route out of that, but he won't be able to. So he'll lose the bear, unfortunately. It is a catapult wave as well.
That was some rune steal for one bounty.
Yeah, and then he paid the price, I guess. They did get a kill up top, I believe. It was just the Jakiro by the looks of it. So nothing as important as what Ocean was able to get here. But I really wonder on... Are they going to smoke? They are. Okay. What does the Lifestealer got? He just got Deso.
His bear is so weak though. He dies so easily because there's so much minus armor. Sheriffy and the Lifesteal now.
Yep.
I think the bear is like just gonna die in a few shots.
He's going AC next, but yeah, it might be a little too long. And this smoke, smoke's gonna pop instantly. Fame with the initiation straight onto Psylor. Ice Path Nightmare gives him a little bit of protection, but it's not enough. The Fiend scripts onto the lifesteal, but they don't have the damage now. Faith Beyond tries to deal with the supports. They got a supernova in the middle of the fight, but the lifesteal is still controlled, so they can't deal with the egg. Another Rolling Thunder. It's way too much damage. Nothing to say. He's in the middle of the fight, but where's the follow-up? The egg ends up popping. Tiny's gonna be forced to disengage here, but Xinq's got the vision. Void Spits tried to deal with Ola and will be able to, but now it looks like the Pangoli is the next target with the Stampede to follow. They'll also catch up the Jakiro. TP's up in a couple of seconds, but it's just way too long. So Radiant, all they lose is one there.
Oh, the Phoenix did so much damage that fight. That's why I love playing this hero right now.
Yeah, you take a look, highest damage in that fight.
I think he single-handedly just killed almost 2 of the heroes.
I mean, that supernova was beautiful. They already controlled the lifesteal, and whenever you use the Ice Path, it feels like they have no long-range catch to be able to stop the Fiend's Grip. I guess, you know, tiny counter initiation, but if he's already used that and Rolling Thunder isn't in range, then it's a kind of a free Fiend's Grip, so to say. So, you know, usually we don't really see the Bane as a position 5 get that full duration off, but, you know, that was enough to allow Phoenix to pop the egg and end up turning the fight. He's got a 4-staff as well. Interesting. I guess there's not a lot of...
Kite.
Yep.
Keep people alive, you know. I love getting 4-star glimmers.
I mean, it's just a value in it.
I can't stress it's enough. It's really important for either one of the supports to be able to actually buy something to save the cost, you know. If you don't have like a hero like Oracle, if you don't have some natural save ability.
Yeah, because we see what it's able to do. Like if someone, you know, a false promise for an example, a disruption, just being able to kind of stop the fight for a couple of seconds and waste like a stun, and that 4-staff is very similar. But with all the minus armor, and Pango's pretty decent at being able to take it. Radiant, are they aware of this though?
Don't think so.
They are in the area. Looks like Sylar's going to be able to scout this out, but Fame finds the Druid once again with a Requiem combination. They'll melt through Sylar. He doesn't have a buyback available now. Faith Beyond's going to get chased down here. Stampede already's been popped. Xinq does have the ultimate. He might be able to pop it on the high ground, but nothing to say with the items. The silence, they just have no fall right now. Shadow Fiend's going to try and pop the BKB and deal with it, but the Fiend's group prevents that, and the egg once again pops onto 3, and Faith Beyond the double edge is just way too much damage. The BKB duration's about to wear off, but the Void Sprue has done so much work throughout the fight. A lucky haste will be able to keep the Jakiro alive, but they'll dispel it off thanks to the Yule Scepter, and now nothing to say hunts down the rest of the heroes from Ocean. So they'll turn this fight around. 4 end up falling. They might as well make it a 5th. Fame, that blink getting cancelled out there thanks to the urn, so it's going to be all 5 dead on Ocean. And now Lone Druid's about to respawn, so they can just take Roche. It's about a 3rd HP here.
Maybe they should considering killing the Phoenix first instead of the Lone Druid.
They're doing a good job at blowing up Druid, but this Phoenix is way too much throughout the fight.
He feels like he's the one killing everyone in every fight.
And you have like the BKB already and the Lifestealer as well, which are, you know, these magic immunity ways are naturally pretty good to be able to deal with the egg, but it's just not showing. Once again, the Fiend's group is helping out a lot.
Yeah, they have to try to save a spell. I guess the only person that can kind of save a spell is the Ice Path. I don't think the Tiny is gonna wait for the grip to happen. Same for the Pango.
Yeah, I think they have to save the Ice Path. I mean, you can toss back into the Requiem Charger, which is how they blew up the Druid, like being able to kind of combo the timing. That's very difficult through the middle of a fight, but it seems like 2 fights have been won now where haven't had a way to be able to deal with the Fiend's group, and it's just allowed the egg to go through. So whether that's you blow up the Phoenix, or you have a way to be able to cancel the Fiend's grip, because you said that the Lifestealer is a really good matchup versus the egg, so naturally in their draft they've kind of countered that at least. But and Bane, he's going for a BKB after the Glimmer. I mean, I really like that item.
It's good for himself as well, so he can, you know, do some ninja move.
And he's had a pretty good game so far, but they're going to bait this Observe Ward potentially. They are all kind of sitting around in the area. That's a decent target if they find the Bane here. He tries to drop the Observe Ward up there, but that's it's going to pay his life.
Problems. The support, the Bane, the Phoenix, kill them first.
Yeah, try and bring these heroes down to start and see how you're able to play around it. But I think once the Bane's alive, Nothing to Say does pick up an Arcane Rune. He's kind of closing in on the level 20. Might take a bit too long. You say, is this a big thing to smoke around, or you just kind of wait until maybe the BKB from the Void Spirit?
I mean, it's not that close though. If he wants they run away for it, it's gonna be a few minutes, and Roshan is like going to be what, another 2 minutes at the Aegis, 2.5. So not sure if they have time to wait for it. I think they should fight if they think it's a good fight.
Yeah,
they don't really have to wait.
They're closing on Assault Cuirass and BKB if that's a better timing for them. So that could be honestly the one where they just kind of take a team fight. You know, they don't really have very good vision at the moment. Kind of some more defensive wards. I'm trying to see if any supports have any. It looks like the Bane's got an Observer ward at the moment. So does the Phoenix. So they might smoke up and kind of link up to a lane and place an Observer down there and use the Aegis to maybe go up high ground here, because Dire would probably favor them late game with the core matchup. You know, the Lifesteal is going to have a really good performance, but he himself is also going for his own BKB.
Yeah, so the smoke is going to come to connect towards the... Oh no, the Phoenix mistake? What? Okay.
They heard it as well, so they know with the sound cue.
Yeah, for sure they know.
So this could be, they still have the ward on the higher ground, and they'll find the Bane here. Now with the Ice Spot follow-up, Bane, that's just the 4 stuff. I mean, it is used on a support though to give him some space with the Glimmer Cape as well. They'll charge up the Requiem, it's going to force back Faith Beyond, but they're taking a fight right next to the choke point in the stairs, so it enables the Pangolier Rolling Thunder. But now Dire, they themselves use a couple of ultimates to get nothing out of it, so Nothing to Say with the catch. He'll find the Pango. Swashbuckle's up in a couple seconds, but a nice use of the control from Sylar will find themselves a kill on TZY. And now here goes the higher ground. They've got the Assault Cuirass. And this is a fast push. They're going to have to do something about it.
No egg, no problem.
It's true. I mean, Phoenix has been the issue throughout the fights, and yeah, they're gonna have Aegis for another minute 30 here. Oh, there's a DD or Nothing to Say. He does have the level 20 as well. Let's see what he's able to do with it. Finds the Jakiro. It's a little bit deep here. Fame's gonna be able to protect him as well, but he might take a fair bit of damage because their initiation from Faith Beyond finds 2. Silence as well, so the Jakiro's gonna join him in the afterlife there, and now they get the Phoenix Grip. There's no way to counter this because all the supports are now dead. Tiny's got a buyback, but it's gonna take way too long. EHOME, they just throw their bodies at Ocean. I mean, if they're standing there like that, you'll take it. There's still a tier 2 down bot, but they're just going to go try and end this game. And now the Shadow Fiend's pushed up as well. He's still got a BKB. We'll be able to get that millisecond off before the Remnant now. Looks like Radiant, they're going to try and peel the fight back. They've got a nice Observer on the backline. Sylar's going to lose his bear, but he does have a resummon. MP's available as well. You can't kill the Centaur, just positioning himself very nicely on the front line, protecting EHOME. They're going to counter-initiate. Straight on top of the Pangolier, going to try and burst him down. A nice avalanche onto 4. Nightmare as well keeps the Phoenix alive. They still have the egg if need be, but they're going to continue the fight. Infest is able to keep him alive, but I mean, look at the towers melt. What can Ocean do? They've got 4 heroes, no buyback though, and with the Assault Cuirass, they just melt through the throne. They've got to do something with Faith Beyond. The hoofs up, Nothing to Say with the follow-up as well. They're not really beating into it right now, but it looks like Ola, the Lifesteal, is going to try and turn and burn, but it doesn't matter. With 3 heroes down, EHOME, it looks like they'll be able to take game 1 here. The G's are dropped. Really nice game coming through for them. That Aegis just towards the end, walking up the high ground. I mean, with that egg on cooldown, it doesn't matter. They wait long enough, and EHOME take game 1.
Egg was a problem, then they don't need the egg. That was the story.
Yeah. And, I mean, they have a lineup to deal with the egg, but it just didn't get the right clicks off, I guess.
Well, and they had a really bad laning phase too, though. They practically lost mid, they lost top. They kind of did okay-ish bottom, but it wasn't enough. So the game was like really hard from the get-go.
Yeah, when you give a good lane to a team that's going to be able to take objectives and can end early on with a lone druid lineup, you're going to start to struggle. And you said they put the lanes where they can try and get greedy and win all of them, and in fact they pretty much lose all of them, and it puts them in a bad spot to be able to come back as they lose map control.
Yeah, I feel like they were just kind of way too greedy. Doing planning the laning phase, sometimes it's actually better just to try to win maybe 1 or 1.5 lane, or be happy with a draw, than going for a risky move that might win you all the lanes or might lose you all the lanes.
And with this being said, EHOME, they're going to be able to take game 1. We'll see what little tricks are going to be pulled out in our second game. Not long of a break until we be back, guys.